Kavanagh.
BBC Radio Bristol.
So I've been chatting to the former X Factor winner, and here he is talking about that very song.
The show that on Friday in Yeovil is called the Evolution Tour. So we'll actually start with Dance for My Father, and we'll take you right through kind of a storyline, musically obviously, of all of the 4 albums. So we'll start right at the beginning with the X Factor audition almost, and kind of recreate it in a modernised way, and obviously in a concert way, not a TV way. So it's quite an interesting. It takes it right back to the beginning for me every night, obviously, when I'm doing it.
Is it kind of a meaningful song to you?
Yeah, well, I grew up listening to Luther Vandross. You know, all my family are big fans of him. My mum was, my dad was, and I think that the song is one of them songs that everybody can relate to. You know, everybody's lost somebody, whether it be a father or a grandfather or a grandmother or a mother. And I think you can kind of relate those lyrics, even though it is father, you can relate it to any kind of loss. So it's quite a powerful song, and you can see the audience when it's performed, like just hanging on to the lyrics, because they're really powerful lyrics.
You're coming to Yeovil on Friday, Joe.
Yes, I am.
Exciting. Is that new for you? Have you played there before?
I've been to Yeovil last year, actually, on the tour I did last year, so it's the second time. But the audience was fabulous last year. And I love the venue. It's a really cool venue.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to coming back. And the weather, I think, if I remember, I normally remember places by the weather or what the dressing room looks like.
I like it.
And if I remember right, the weather was boiling hot last year, so hopefully it'll be the same.
Yeah, oh, it'll definitely be the same. It's always really hot and sunny down here. What about the dressing room?
Dressing room...
Do you remember that?
Yeah, dressing rooms had no windows, I remember.
Right.
They were underneath the stage, and they were quite hot. It was boiling hot in the dressing room.
Yeah.
I always remember the places back. Isn't that terrible?
No, I love that.
I go to so many places that I have, like, we normally, me and the band, will have like a little trivia game on the tour, and we get like either something that happened on stage that night by the venue, or a restaurant that we went to, or just something random. That's how we remember the places.
Yeah. Do you have a big rider when you're on tour?
Not really. I mean, the most that I suppose I have is like honey and lemon coffee, green tea and water. That's it.
Yeah.
It's pretty boring.
What happened to champagne?
Well, unfortunately, I'm one of these singers that loses my voice when I drink alcohol. And, well, I don't think it's unfortunate, because I think it actually stops us from going on a rock and roll party lifestyle.
I can see you doing that, Joe.
Yeah, it's such my character, isn't it?
Yeah, very much.
But yeah, so I don't have the champagne. If we have a day off the next day, maybe we can have a little bit, but not when I have a couple of shows in a row.
Yeah. When I knew that I was going to talk to you, I looked up the fact that you won X Factor back in 2009. You're still only 23. How does that work?
I know, it's frightening. I feel a lot older than that.
Are you actually getting younger?
Is that the case of Benjamin Button?
Yeah.
I do feel... I feel like it's been longer than 5... I think it's nearly 5.5 years now.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been longer than that, so I do feel a little bit older. And I feel like
time's dragged.
Well, not dragged. I just think, like, so much has happened in a short space of time. It's gone really quick. But I think, like, when you actually look at the things I've done, it feels like it's spanned across quite a lot of more years. But I mean, it flew by, I suppose, because I'm busy all the time and having fun. But and I think the experiences, obviously, that I've had as well, I've had to grow up quickly. So that maybe makes us feel a little bit older as well. But
did you feel like a child when you were on that programme? Did you feel like you were kind of growing up as the programme went on?
I think you never really know... you always think you're a lot mature than you are, I think. And then 3 years on, you look back and think, actually, I wasn't. You know, I thought I was really mature at 21. I look back now and I wasn't. I thought I was really mature at 18, dealing with the X Factor and all of that. And then now when I look back, I was so naive about it all, and I was a kid. You know, I was a kid. So I think I didn't at the time, but I definitely think I was now.
And did you enjoy the whole experience of X Factor? Because I know that I've spoken to a lot of people who said it's quite tough, and all the TV stuff and the fact that the focus is completely on you is quite hard to deal with, especially when you're really young.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while, I suppose, to get... the way I explain it, though, I think it's like when you start any job, obviously it's a little bit more intense because it's public and it's the pressure of in front of the nation, I suppose. But I suppose it's the same sense as starting a new job. It takes a while to kind of settle into it, to know all of the the routines of your job and everything like that. And I think it took
Find where the loos are.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's the key thing.
And I think it took me a good 2 years to kind of really take it all in my stride. But I didn't not enjoy it in the first 2 years. But I think now I'm a lot more relaxed about it. And I suppose you come to kind of like, you come to learn about the industry a little bit, and you sort of just take it with a little bit of pinch of salt, you know, which I think makes everything a little bit easier, because I do think the pressure is put on you at the start, and it's like, oh my God, it's so serious, and blah, 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 and then you actually look at show business, and it's a bit of a joke, really, you know, it's supposed to be fun and light-hearted, and that's the way I look at it now.
Yeah, I know that it is quite hard to sustain a career over time, but you've managed to stay up there, and you've recorded, I think, are you on to your 4th album now?
Yes, I've released 4, and then I'm recording the 5th one now. So
is that hard to kind of sustain the level of interest in you when there are so many other artists around?
I think, yeah, I mean, show business is a tough industry, you know, it's very saturated, and you've got a lot of, you know, I mean, I'm a fan of the reality shows. I'm not, by saying this, I'm not slagging them off. You've got a lot of the reality shows now, there's so many of them, so you've got people coming in through all of those doors, you've got people coming in through all of the theatre schools. It's a saturated industry, it's really competitive as well, but I think if you kind of, I've been lucky to have a really, really supportive fan base, and I think if you just focus on kind of keeping them happy and doing your best at your job, then it kind of, and if you've got a good team around you as well, it kind of falls into place. But I mean, it's took me a while to kind of settle into that, you know, and you know, there's been ups and downs along the way, and bits where I kind of thought, oh my God, like what am I going to do? You know, what am I going to do next? But I think if you actually, like some of the biggest artists in the world, they all say that they go through them kind of transitional periods in their career where they just have no idea what's coming next. And it is a bit of a roller coaster. But you know,
does that ever get you down? I mean, does that worry you? Is that keeping you awake at night, or do you just think, no, it'll be okay?
Well, I think, you know, I'm a grafter, as we say up in the northeast. I work hard, and I'm not afraid of a bit of hard work either, you know. And I think it's all part of the experience, you know. And my aim, hopefully, is to create some longevity over the next, I hope, you know, 10 to 20 years. I hope so, and I work for that. And you know, I deal with the ups and the setbacks along the way. It's all part of your career. It makes your story, it makes your history, and I think you've got to kind of just take that in your stride a little bit and not get too obsessive about it.
Yeah, that's Joe McElderry chatting to me on the afternoon show. The former X Factor winner and professional northerner, who you might be seeing this Friday when he comes to the Octagon in Yeovil. And I asked him if he still watches the talent show that made his name.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it all the time, but I always know what's going on. I feel like I have to, you know, I get asked about it so much, I feel like I have to know what's going on a little bit. So I always know who's in the show and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah, and what about this whole debate now about a new judge? Any ideas on that?
I don't know who's going to be doing that. I've seen that yesterday about Louis not doing it. Who will it be? I don't know.
I think Nick Grimshaw might be in the
running.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you got any thoughts on that?
Well, I think it would be nice to have somebody who could maybe sing. That would be my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, I mean...
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's a singing competition. And, you know, Nick's obviously got a lot of experience in terms of radio DJ and all of that kind of stuff, and the industry as well. But I think if you're going to criticise people on singing, maybe it would make more sense to be somebody who can technically talk about singing, I suppose. But... hey ho, you know, let's see what happens.
Yeah. What about your spread of fans? Who do you get coming to your gigs?
It's a real mix, which I love. You know, obviously I did the pop star, opera star thing, which kind of changed a different section of the fan base. It kind of brought in that side of the music genre. We got young, old, middle-aged. They all come for a little party. It's fun. But I like that. I like looking out and seeing the mix of a different audience. It makes it more fun.
We're talking to you in Newcastle today. Is that where you live still?
Yeah, I never ever moved away.
Okay.
Although I'm not here much, I'm always kind of off and about. I'm actually flying down to London today, so I get a couple of days every other week here, so and then the rest of the time I'm just kind of travelling around.
And was that kind of a choice that you thought, actually I don't want to leave the northeast, I want to stay here?
Yeah, well I suppose I spend so much time in London that it doesn't feel like I'm not in London, if you know what I mean. But I kind of made the decision to buy a place up here and make it my base, you know, and kind of just be the place where I would always kind of come back to. So
cheaper.
Well, yeah, and it's just nice, you know. All my friends and family live around here, and it's kind of, I think it's important to come back to your roots all the time, you know, and keep in touch with them.
Do you not hang out with showbiz types? Because I know you and Cheryl were pretty good mates at one point.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do, and I have a lot of friends in the industry. But you know, I go down to London. I do that. I see people. I catch up with them. I do my work. I do whatever I'm doing in London. Then I come home for a few days and catch up with my friends up here and see my family. I kind of literally, I split it between the two. So yeah, it keeps us sane, shall we say?
Have you ever been on Simon Cowell's yacht?
No, and
does he not invite anyone on that yacht?
I don't know. I don't know who's been on the yacht.
I don't know. I asked Calabro and they hadn't.
But I'm good actually. I can manage not being on Simon Cowell's yacht.
Have you got a deck shoe though? Have you got a bit of nautique clothing? I can imagine you in that.
Nautical stripes.
Yeah.
I've got a few stripy tops.
I thought you would do. I wonder who gets invited on his yacht.
Probably just his family and friends, I suppose.
Yeah, dear me. Selfish. If you've got a yacht, you show it off.
How dare he?
How dare he, exactly. Now, the other big deal for you, Joe, is that you are still reigning champion of The Jump, the ITV reality show where you basically threw yourself off a mountainside. Yeah. Are you going to defend that title? Is that how it works?
Well, they did the series this year, and I think they asked us to fly out to I don't know what they were going to ask us to do, but they wanted us to be out there, I think, for the final. I couldn't make it. I was on tour. The tour had started. Probably just as well, because I probably would have known me. I'd go back as the reigning champ, and I'd probably break my neck on live telly. That would be something that would happen to me. So, but yeah, it was such a fun series. That I absolutely loved it.
It's pretty mad, isn't it? As an idea, it's pretty bonkers.
It is, but I think it's really good, and I think people enjoy watching people who they kind of know from TV, putting themselves at risk a little bit, but also kind of learn a serious sports skill. I think there's something about that's quite exciting in a way. Maybe it's because they think at any moment they're going to break a bone. I don't know.
It is the jeopardy, definitely.
Yeah, TV love a bit of jeopardy.
Yeah, no, I know. Would you do anything like that again then?
I'm always up for the reality shows. You know, if it's something that you can learn a skill or do something fun with, I think it's nice, because I think it's quite hard to get to show like all dimensions of your personality, I suppose, in a 5-minute interview, or like even on stage. You know, obviously you're performing a show, so you're kind of working. So when you go onto these reality shows, you get pushed outside your comfort zone. I think people get to see a completely different side of you, which is nice sometimes. Yeah.
Do you all like stay in a travel lodge all together when you do something like that?
We actually stayed in the most insane hotel in Austria. It was beautiful. It was like it was actually split between a big ski like lodge up in the mountains, which was incredible, and then we moved down into the town where we filmed the live shows, and the hotel was all glass, and it was just surrounded like with a panoramic view of just the mountains and the snow, and it was beautiful. It had like a spa on the top of the roof. It was very plush.
That sounds amazing.
And we took over the hotel. We had a party every night. It was fabulous.
Fantastic. Oh, that sounds great. At least there was no other guests there.
Well, there was. I think there was a few other guests there, but there was so many of the TV crew and everybody taking part in the show, everyone's friends and family, that there was a rooftop bar as well, that the same like view right around it. And we just literally went in there every night after the show and had a great time. It was like a holiday. I felt like I was on holiday, just with loads of aches and pains and bruises.
Yeah, in agony.
Yeah.
The whole time. That sounds great. Joe, brilliant to talk to you. Best of luck with the continuing tour. Hope that goes well. I know it will. It'll be fab.
Thank you.
And enjoy Yeovil on Friday.
Thank you. Thanks very much for your time.
Yeah, lovely to talk to you.